Hey, and welcome to the Sober Strength podcast. Whether you're currently sober, curious about sobriety, or simply looking for insights and motivation to build better habits and a healthier lifestyle, this is the show for you. Thank you for being here and showing up for yourself today. I'm Jesse Karajat, certified health coach, fitness trainer, Marine veteran, and founder of Ultim Fitness. Again, thank you for being here. Each week on the show, we bring on inspiring guests and top mental and physical health experts to share their insights and stories around mental health, physical fitness, and addiction. And this week, we have an awesome guest, Jeff Sutherland, founder of Midlife Fit Club, joined me for an awesome conversation. If you don't know who Jeff is a massive social media content creator and business owner. Again, the Midlife Fit Club. He's 52 years old as of the time of this recording. And I'll just say it, guys, he is absolutely shredded. And what's so awesome about Jeff is he recently in his fitness and sobriety journey made the decision to turn his life into what it is today. Again, he's 52 years old. He's 1 month away from 1 year of sobriety. And you can go to his Instagram account and see the before and after from just a year ago. But it's such an amazing transformation, such a humble guy. This is his first podcast he's ever done, and you wouldn't know it. He's got such an inspiring story. He's got great insights and actionable steps for anybody who's thinking about two things. One, maybe stepping away from alcohol, cutting back or cutting it out, but then also adding fitness into your life and doing those two things together, and then seeing the amazing impact it can have on your life. So he's just an awesome guy. I consider him a friend now that I've gotten to know him, and I'm so glad that I can bring you this conversation. So without further ado, enjoy the conversation on the Sober Strength podcast with the powerful Jeff Sutherland. Welcome to Sober Strength. As advertised, I am here with the mighty Jeff Sutherland. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing awesome, Jesse.
Jeff is, as I mentioned in the intro, Jeff is a sober fitness athlete and founder of this amazing organization. We'll link to it in the show notes later, but it's called Midlife Fit Club. It's a training app and a community. Jeff is a fitness coach and an expert in functional strength training and home workouts, and he is absolutely ripped at 52 years old or 52 years young. Is that right, Jeff?
That's right, 52.
All right, brother. Well, thanks for being here, Jeff. We're gonna dive into your story because, as I mentioned, you are a sober fitness athlete, and we're gonna kind of go backward before we go forward. And I want to invite you to share your story. So you are a sober athlete. Why did you make the decision to quit drinking?
I was tired of feeling like horrible all the time, feeling like a loser, really. Everything I did revolved around drinking. Literally everything in life. If I went to go play pickleball, I would drink a few beers before going to play. If I was out playing disc golf with my buddies, we would easily polish off a 12-pack of beers. I just don't think I could have. I couldn't achieve what I have within my fitness if I were to keep drinking. It just would have been impossible. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are fit that can continue to drink in moderation, maybe, but I was never able to do that myself.
Yeah. And how many years have you been completely sober now for?
Yeah. Well, so next month, June, it'll be a year, 1 year.
A year? Good
Yeah.
for you. And what was it like before that year? So what was your drinking habits like? Talk us through it.
Yeah. So in my 40s, so my wife and I, well, we had kids very young. We were in our 20s. And So during our 40s, we really were just finding that sense of freedom, I would say. And we were just partying. We were having a lot of fun with it. Um, we loved to go out and cocktail, go to dinner. But the problem is I would come home and I would continue to drink. But at the
Yes.
time, I don't think I realized that it's with society right now, it's so normalized. Like, I was actually out, we were out to dinner the other night, and we rarely go out to dinner now, but we do every once in a while for fun. And just looking around at the people, everyone's sipping on their martinis and beers, wines, and it just seems so normal. We're sitting there drinking our coffees, and I remember feeling to myself, it's like, yes, I feel really strong right now. Just like I almost just a sense of like how proud I am of myself that I could sit here and not drink anymore, because there is a time not that long ago that I honestly thought I would never be able to stop drinking. I just
Mm.
really never thought it was possible, just because it revolved around our life so much. Every single thing we did, like I would drink during the week, after work. Friday night would come, we would go to dinner, eat a crappy meal, and have drinks. I would come home, drink more on. So this is Friday night. Saturday night, I would, during the day, you'd go, oh, maybe I'll have a couple beers, and then that leads into the evening time where it's like, oh, let's go out again. We'll have a couple cocktails, and then I'll come home and probably drink some more. And then on Sundays, it was like, well, it's Sunday. Let's go get some brunch and have, bottomless mimosas in the area.
Right.
There's just everyone drinks in Orange County, California. It seems like it's like, there's so many places, restaurants to go, and they all advertise the bottomless mimosas. And I would just look forward to that. And yeah, that was kind of our routine. But it just seems so normal.
Now, were you a drinker teenage, 20s, 30s?
Yeah, I've done it all. I mean, I've done all sorts of different drugs. And ever since, I would say I've been drinking over 30 years easily, from, since high school.
And what made you decide to make that decision at, if I'm doing the math, 51 versus
Yeah.
41 or 31? What was going on?
So our early 20s to 30s, we were really broke, and my wife and I. Um, and so we were living life a little bit different than other 25, 30-year-olds at that time. And 2008, everything kind of went to crap for us financially. I'm in the creative business. I owned a design firm up there, and my wife's in the mortgage business, and her business went to crap. So yeah, when we came back after that crash, we moved back to California, where I'm from, and uh, I think that sense of freedom really came into our lives, and we just started partying. Like, we started doing better financially, and eventually it just really became the norm for us, my wife and I, to go out and just drink. It was just something that we would do for fun. And she actually quit drinking herself too, along with me. She's been sober for about a year now as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And I couldn't do it without her. I mean, if I didn't have her support, it would have just been almost impossible for me. Because she didn't have I have an addictive personality, and she really doesn't. She's been a lot stronger than I am in that way. She just kind of partied with me, but she never came home and drank 2 more vodka drinks, or maybe 3 more. I would do. I mean, I was always looking to just go a little bit further. It was never quite enough, I don't think.
And why do you think you were that way? What were you after? What were you searching for?
Yeah, I know. I think about that all the time, and the one thing that comes to mind first is, and I hate to be a victim or anything, because I had a good childhood and everything, but I have a biological dad that wasn't in my life at all when I was a baby. He basically left me when I was a toddler, and I didn't meet him till 12. And he's gone through 3 marriages, has 4 other kids, or half brother and 3 half brothers and a sister, and he has a really tight relationship with them. And to this day, I still don't have that real connection that I so yearned, I think, with them. That I think that has something to do with it. I think there's just some hurt inside me that just wishes I had that more connection with him. Fortunately, I have a stepdad that is my dad. I call him dad to this day, and he is my dad. He was in my life, and he did give me that father figure. But I think deep down in my soul, it was just that biological dad. And I've talked to my mom about this and stuff, but that must be it, because I can't think of really anything else, because for the most part, I've had a pretty solid life.
Sometimes we don't
I don't really know.
have sometimes we don't have the answers, like all of the answers, and we can kind of grasp at reasons. I know for myself, and everything I'm about to say is more in hindsight, because while we're drinking actively, we're not thinking about these things. But for me, I had I'll say a complicated relationship with my father, and he passed away when I was 19 from AIDS that he had acquired long before. So I don't have the experience of a child that grew up with a parent that was like actively abusing drugs. His story was one that he kind of put it behind him, acquired the disease, and then it came back to get him, unfortunately, later. But the point is, like, losing my father under those circumstances, understanding that he was using drugs. I had a stepfather, and like you, I called him dad, who also was a heavy drinker. I'll stop my story there because it's not about me. But if you would ask me, like, hey, Jesse, like, why are you sitting here? Why did you start Ultimate Fitness? Why are you actively, trying to improve your relationship with alcohol? It's because there's lots of reasons underneath there that I don't quite understand why I became a drinker and why I abused and why I used, but it's part of my story, and it is what it is.
Yeah,
just gotta get better.
That's awesome. Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Hoplark. Forget what you know about non-alcoholic drinks. Hoplark is revolutionizing the game with their craft brews, teas, and waters, all hopped and crafted like your favorite beer. Enjoy the full hoppy flavor you crave without the calories, sugar, or alcohol. Whether you've never been a fan of alcohol, you're celebrating sobriety, or just looking for a deliciously unique beverage, Hoplark delivers everything you could need. Dive into a can of their signature hop tea, 0 calories, 0 carbs, and all the taste of a fine pale ale without the alcohol. Hoplark isn't just a drink, it's an experience. Taste the revolution. Visit hoplark.com to explore more.
Yeah, I guess you don't really know. I know I have it in the family, though. I've had 2 uncles that have died from alcoholism, and it's sad. I think the society these days makes it so normal that people don't even realize that maybe they're drinking too much. I know that's what happened to me. But I figured it out on my own, and I feel like I'm really strong because of it. I think I've always had this strong mindset, but it's now just shining through more than ever, because I'm wanting to become this man that's just good in all ways, just being as strong as possible, but not just for me, but for my family. I mean, anything could happen to us. I could leave this podcast now and go outside and get hit by a bus, but my goal is to turn my health around, with the idea of being there for years to come for my wife and daughters and grandkids and all that. So that's why I'm doing it.
Heck yeah. Since I personally have stepped into this world that you're in, which is trying to reach people with a message of improve your life, improve your health, cut back drinking or cut out drinking. One of the things that has shocked me, frankly, is when I post content on anywhere, but let's just use TikTok, about stopping drinking or cutting back drinking. It's the hatred that some people comment on. And just to pull out like a recent comment,
Oh
I
yeah.
had an individual say, drinking ain't for the weak. Only the weak can't handle alcohol. And then
Oh wow.
he alluded to something like, okay, I'm gonna go have a drink now. And my thought was like, damn, like what's weak? What's weak is not being able to hold a social conversation without a social lubricant. That's weak.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's weak is ignoring scientific facts that alcohol is poisoning your body and shortening your lifespan, and not having the fortitude to make a change, if not for yourself, but for your loved ones. Like you just said, that's weak. Weak, and I'm preaching now. I'm sorry, but like
No,
weak
I love
is
it. Keep going.
no. It's like,
Because it helps me. I love to hear all this stuff. Keep going.
yeah, man. Yeah, I got one. I got one more for you. Like weak is like, okay, I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling depressed. I'm feeling stressed. I'm feeling uncomfortable, and the only way that I can fix it is by ingesting a byproduct of rotten fruit, which is alcohol, and putting that into my body to relieve myself, instead of doing the work and maybe talking to a therapist and sharing with people, get into a group. So to me, and I'll wrap it up here, but like for someone to say, Jesse, you quote, can't handle alcohol, you're weak. And to me say, brother, like the hardest thing in the world to do is to turn around and say, this thing that's been lodged in my life for 20 years, I'm going to walk away from it. This habit that is so insidious, I'm just going to quit, and I'm going to tell people, and I'm going to be, honest and humble. That's strong. And what you're doing is strong. Sorry, I feel like I had this like penned up, like I
I
had to
love
say
it.
this, but dude, like I'm off. I love what you're doing, man. I love what you're doing. And I love that you made the decision when you did at 51 years old. So 30s and 40s, was it something where your alcohol use, it felt like it was a lot with your wife, but was it quote like not a problem at that time? And I'm still trying to work towards like what was the catalyst?
It wasn't a problem. It was fun. I mean, the thing is, we had a lot of fun with it. And during those times, we were doing a little bit better financially, I guess. We were 40s. Like it was just a good time. We were just having fun with it, and drinking a lot, and like all the time, just drinking. It was like our fun, and numbing myself. But numbing myself, and it was fun. But then, especially as I got older, these hangovers just like really just that was the last straw. And when I embarrassed my wife at this party we were at, it was my buddy's surprise birthday party, and someone brought a really nice bottle of tequila, and we were just pounding shots there. And my wife told me the next day that she was embarrassed, and she said I was acting like an idiot. And so I realized that pretty much that was the month that I pretty much just quit cold turkey. And then that's when I put my first video out on TikTok. I did it on TikTok first because I was had fear to put it out on Instagram because I had more people that knew me there. But I wanted to put my story out there because I knew right then, because I know myself, that I was done. I'm done, man.
You just knew. What was your so was it the day, like, so you woke up after that surprise birthday party, hungover, felt some embarrassment and shame, and you posted on TikTok that day?
I don't quite remember, but I do remember waking up and just saying I'm done. And I went outside. Like I post that video. It's in some of my befores and afters, where I walk up and I say, "Hi, my name is Jeff. I'm 51 years old," and you could visibly see the dad bod stepping in there. It was coming, man. And I like to feel good. I was starting to not feel confident in my clothes, and I've been fit before, and I've been an athlete my whole life, and I'm a surfer, tennis, soccer, all sorts of different sports. Yeah, I saw that, and it was just time to make the change, and I'll never go back. Now it's just our lifestyle, and it has to be now. Oh yeah, that's the one right
I
there.
just pulled it up, and
That's
I've
it.
seen this. Yeah, I've seen this myself.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, I found you, Jeff, on social media because of
Uh,
your posts around like alcohol content. So I've seen your, but I thought I'd just pull up. So this is, we'll call this before, which is,
yeah.
you know, pinned to your top. And then if
Yeah.
you look at this, I called you, you know, the powerful, the might.
Oh yeah.
This is Jeff right here.
That's Jeff now.
This,
Yeah.
yeah, here he
Yeah.
is. Look at that. How about
I'm
that
even more ripped
transformation?
than that one now, I think. But
So, I
now
mean,
it's not even hard. Like people go, well, how do you maintain? I'm like, it's actually, I just eat good whole foods and I work out. You know, right now I'm probably at 4 days a week, you know, consistently. I practice a lot of kettlebells during the weekends, but nothing crazy. So I probably work out a little more than 4 days just through practice and stuff. But now it's like pretty easy. And that's what I would want to tell my audience or anyone out there, especially if you're getting to 40s, 50s, 60s, you could still build muscle and grow as a man. It's not a time to give up. It's a time to keep
heck
going.
yeah.
Um,
I love that,
yeah,
man. I love that. And I want to
yeah,
get, if it's okay with you, Jeff, once we get towards the, I want to like you maybe share some secrets and tips and stuff. But
yeah,
you mentioned something. I want to linger here for a second. You
sure.
said you quit cold
Oh
turkey.
yeah,
So on that day, June 21st, if I heard
yeah,
you, 2023,
yeah.
you made that decision. What did you do to maintain your first year almost of sobriety? How'd you pull it off?
I it was all through mindset. It was completely through mindset. I was just done, and I knew I had to be done. Like I said earlier I think I said this earlier, is that I never thought I would be able to quit. And the other thing is, I've tried moderation, and it would work for me for a week or two, but then ultimately it doesn't work. So I always said to myself that I would eventually have to quit, just completely, or just keep drinking, one or the other. So I kind of gave myself no choice, and I chose to quit. And um, to get healthy, I want to, you know, live the rest of my life and lifestyle as a healthy man, and in the best way I can.
And be there for your daughters as
Yeah,
they
either
grow
for my
older.
daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They're doing awesome, and you know they both have good men in their life, and I definitely see grandkids in the future. And the other thing is being able to move as I get older. I mean, I would love to be able to, you know, play. My wife's really into pickleball. She plays a lot more than I do, and I want to be able to play with her when we're in our 60s. And it's a tough sport on your joints and stuff. You run around on the concrete. I want to be able to do those sort of things. I want to be able to. My dream is to. I'm a surfer. I want to, but I like to surf warm tropical water now. um, I want to be able to take those trips to, you know, tropical locations and surf in my 60s and 70s and so on. You know, and
Yeah, man.
I believe that you can. You know, sitting around's not going to do it for you. You got to get up and move and keep your
Yeah.
body healthy.
Sitting around and drinking, because then
Exactly.
internally you're sabotaging your body, not just, you know,
Oh
the
man.
muscle
Oh
mass. And
gosh. The
yeah.
health wise, I completely felt like it was killing me slowly. I mean, I could internally feel that it was poisoning me. But I just kept doing it for some
Yeah.
reason. Yeah.
Yeah, many of us, look, I relate, and you just kept doing it for years. So you never did a quote unquote program like an AA or a smart recovery. You didn't get plugged into community. You just said, I'm
No.
done.
I'm
And
just done. I never,
wow.
no, never went to community, although I do have friends now that do go through there. And we've talked about this, and they're like surprised that I never have. They say that most guys can't, or people, women too, that they need that extra support to quit. So they're pretty proud of me that I've been able to do it without going. I mean, I do think it still could be good for me. And I think I
Is
do
this?
have community in that way of other sober guys in my life that are providing that for me. There's a couple guys
Yeah.
we just go and have coffee during the week and we just talk about those things. They'll ask me, you know, how you doing with it? And I'm just like, I'm solid. Like I'm not drinking anymore. Like I never thought there'd be a day, honestly, where I could go out to dinner again and uh sit there and watch other people drinking around me and not want to have a drink.
Yeah.
And I'm doing that now.
It's hard. It can be hard.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I think that, and maybe we have this in common, but by you just opening up and telling people,
Mhm.
that is a form of accountability. I don't personally think that accountability needs to be in some formal setting like an AA room or even an online community. I think accountability can be whatever it needs to be for you. For me, coming out in, it was Veterans Day of 2023, 'cause, I'm a veteran,
Mhm.
but coming out
Right.
on
Yeah.
11/11/23 and saying, hey, everyone, hey, friends and family, you know me, but what you don't know about me is I've been privately using alcohol to self-medicate for years, and enough is enough. And by the way, I'm starting this company. For
Wow.
me, I didn't also then go and, show up on a Wednesday night at 8 p.m. and sit in a circle.
Mhm.
That was such a powerful accountability tool because I might have projected this onto people, but then the very next time I was out around friends or like, socializing with my wife as couples, I was thinking that all these people know that I just made that declaration,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
that was accountability for me to then not partake if someone
Oh,
was drinking,
yeah.
right? So like
All
just
right.
coming out on TikTok for you and saying,
Oh,
I'm Jeff, this is what I'm doing, that was
yeah.
probably a pretty powerful motivator, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was the whole point. That was actually looking back that you say that the accountability part of that was huge, just announcing it. Because once
Yeah.
you say it, I'm the type of, I'm a guy of my word, if I'm saying it, then that's what it's got to be. I'm not going to go start drinking again. Like,
I love that. Yeah.
well, and also social media, it's like what you're saying about people saying hateful things. I've never had so many people saying mean things to me since I've posted on social media. And just things about like me talking about quitting drinking, you still get people's like, it's crazy. This comment I got the other day was, how are you supposed to celebrate when you don't drink alcohol anymore? Like pouring that champagne and at the party and it's a celebration. And I wrote back and I try to respond to the haters when I can in a positive way as much as possible. A lot of people say don't respond to them, and it's just like, it's for one, it's kind of fun to respond to them, but and I know in my heart a lot of them are hurting inside, and that's why they come out with hate towards you. I believe, but I just responded. It's like, simple answer. You don't need alcohol to celebrate. That's the problem with what society thinks about alcohol.
Amen.
Everything revolves around a celebration. Well, it's time to pour some champagne. I completely disagree with that. It's also about like, so I have this men's group I go, we were talking about on Wednesday nights, and I was telling these guys that uh, it's only my second time meeting with these guys. The first night I told them that I'm sober, and a lot of those guys are, and I told them I've never in my entire life been in a situation sitting with 12 men where I came to talk to them completely sober. First time ever in my entire life. I would
Jarring.
always go to that for one to get, comfortable. Like you feel like you need the alcohol to be able to, go and socialize with people to give you that confidence. And I'm learning now that I don't anymore. And I was so proud
Yeah.
of myself to tell these guys that I'm here just I'm completely here in all clarity and I was just so stoked on that.
I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
went to 2 weeks ago. Shout out to Eric Hinman. He's incredible. He's a content creator, entrepreneur, all these things. And Jeff, I got to get you hooked up
Oh,
with
cool.
Eric. But he just hosted it's called Founders Only. But anyways, it was a bunch of wellness entrepreneurs, like fitness entrepreneurs that gathered at his residence down in Denver, and he put together this amazing weekend of these badass fitness events. Jeff, I don't know if you heard of like the hardest mile, like burpee
Oh,
broad jumps for an entire
oh,
lap, and then
oh,
lunge. It was wild. There was hikes, there
wow.
was high rocks training, but all that to say, what I noticed, I mean, I went down there, I didn't know anybody, and I stepped into this house of, 35-ish people. And what I noticed over the course of 2 days, not a sip of alcohol was consumed. It was all about relationships, training, sharing ideas and insights and wisdom. And I thought to myself, like, I've never been around a more rad group of like fit, tough, badass, smart, awesome people, and not one of them needs alcohol to socialize. And that's what this guy, whoever guy or gal that said, how do you celebrate without champagne? That's an experience that they haven't had, but you can't have that experience until you actually have the courage and the motivation to make the change and to step into that life of sobriety like you've done.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's awesome. I really don't know how you reach a higher level while drinking. To me, it seems impossible. I couldn't do what I'm doing. I said this earlier if I was continually drinking, even, I'm trying to reach this higher level. I just couldn't do it with alcohol. That's all. It's just that simple.
Yeah. And the higher level fitness, mentally, emotionally, full picture.
The whole thing, mentally, emotionally, just being the best man I could be all around. It's a lifestyle. It's not just about being in good shape. It's so much more than that. Yeah, that's it. It's just everything.
So you make the decision that you're going to quit drinking. Had you started Midlife Fit Club yet at that point?
Yeah, well, I did on TikTok. And like I said, I was kind of hiding. I had the Instagram account, but I hadn't started posting there. And then I think I also was wanting to get a little bit better shape because I knew I had friends following me there.
Yeah.
Maybe that was it. I don't totally remember, but I did post pretty quick after, though, to TikTok. But TikTok was really where I first put it up. And now I'm not even posting to TikTok much at all.
I don't blame you. No, this is what it is there. I don't feel energized when I leave that place. But
yeah, I don't either. Yeah.
So you have 223,000 followers on Instagram. That's a lot. What do you attribute all of the the following and the excitement around you and your story? How'd you get there?
Well, I hear it from the guys that reach out, and they tell me that I feel real and authentic, approachable. They like my workouts are simple, I think, but they're challenging at the same time. I'm not doing anything too crazy that a man of in their 50s. I'm cautious because I am in my 50s. I do have my aches and pains, and I think that resonates with a lot of guys that are around my age, and I think that's a big reason why right there. I feel like I come across as just this normal dude because I am. And I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to be myself and be honest, and that's what I do. I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, and you look incredible.
Thank you.
Of course, you're welcome. I think everyone knows that in order to achieve the aesthetic look that you have, that takes behind the scenes discipline, knowledge, commitment, intentionality. So my point there is like clearly you must walk the walk in able to achieve that.
Oh yeah, every day I walk the walk, but I enjoy it. Like I hear comments, "Oh, you must be miserable." I'm like, "Well, you're absolutely wrong, man. I'm the opposite of miserable. I'm thriving right now. I'm feeling the best I've ever felt in my life. I'm feeling better than I did in my early years, to be honest. A few more aches and pains here and there, but I just go and stretch and I feel better. I walk the walk every day. Like I said, so when I first started out, I was like 7 days a week. I was just hammering it hard because I knew that if I hammered it hard, I switched my eating out, that that I'm going to get results pretty quick. And you can. I had a lot of people like, oh, there's no way you did that in 6 months. I'm just like, dude, I was like feeling good at 3 months. But that first post that kind of went viral, that was about 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get accused of a lot of, well, you're doing TRT or some sort of steroids or all sorts of different things. And no, I'm 100% natural. And
More haters.
yeah, more haters. It's like they don't believe that you could achieve this at my age. It's like, man, you're crazy. You can. And so I'll put that out there. But I still have people say, no way you didn't. You're lying to your audience and stuff. It's like, no, man. I'm not. I just I work out consistently. It's just that simple. Be consistent, eat right, and anyone at any age could achieve good results. And it's all in your mind. It just depends what you want to do. Do you want to get ripped? Do you want to just get in good shape? I wanted to see how lean I could get. I wanted to really see if I could really lean down. That was kind of my goal at first. And I was able to achieve that. Now I'm where I'm at now. Now I'm really feeling like I'm in a maintenance phase of where I'm at. I'm not really trying to bulk up much more or anything. I would like to build muscle a little more in my upper chest, little things, but it's a slow. I'm not worried about trying to get huge or anything like that. My clothes are fitting awesome. I feel good with my shirt off if I'm at the beach, just little things that are just awesome. It just brings you that extra confidence. I think fitness just brings this extra confidence to you to where, I mean, the things that are happening in my life now are just so wonderful. It's like things that I'm doing now I never thought I would be able to achieve. And I do attribute it all to fitness, health, wellness, mindset, discipline, consistency, and trying as hard to keep a positive mindset always.
Yeah.
The best you can, because it's hard sometimes,
It can be, yeah. So I'm about to straight up geek out on you on the fitness side with some questions. Can I throw some rapid fire questions at you?
Sure.
Is that all right? All right.
We'll see how I do.
All right. You don't have to give away too much of your, secrets. But so first, you mentioned nutrition multiple times. As it feels to me like that's paramount. Yeah. So
paramount. Yeah.
So what do you recommend when it comes to nutrition? And I'm going to throw out a couple concepts and just kind of like respond to them, right? But
yeah,
you have the intermittent fasting camp.
Yeah.
You have carb loading, carb timing. You have plant-based. You have all these different kind of like fads. Sometimes a person can sit there and be like, this is so overwhelming, I don't know where to start.
Right. Yeah.
What would you say are some of the cornerstones of your advice as a NASM certified trainer and someone who walks the walk? What do you think people should be doing from a nutrition standpoint?
Yeah, for me, it's I keep it simple, and I eat foods that are from the earth. High protein. I hate to say diet, it's because it's a lifestyle. It's an eating lifestyle for me. I mean, I could walk you through what I eat every day
give us a day in the life.
But it's a high protein. I try to get, my protein number one. I eat like in the morning. My wife will make it. She's awesome, by the way. She does a lot of the cooking, and she's an integral part of the nutrition part of this. I'll eat like 5 eggs, half an avocado, and berries almost every single morning, and I love it. At lunchtime, sometimes I just skip a lunch, and then we'll go to dinner where we'll make some grass-fed hamburger patties, and I'll have some sauerkraut and more avocado and a little bit more fruit. We'll make, sometimes at night she makes this really wonderful chicken legs, but it's all based around just high protein. We'll have steak. It's not really a carnivore diet because I do eat fruit, but for the most part, a lot of protein.
Okay. Oats, sweet potatoes, rice. I didn't hear any grains or things.
I do eat a little bit of white rice, but for the most part, no. And for me, I don't eat breads, those sort of carbs. I've never been into bread though in the first place, so it was kind of easy for me to eat this way. Yeah, it's just simple. I just put a post out about it, about just what you said, how it does become so complicated out there that if you just boil it down to eating, a simple whole foods, don't eat things out of packages, and that you'll be fine. Like I don't count carbs, I don't count macros. I base everything on how my body feels. If the other thing, speaking of that, my wife, she makes a lot of the I call them candies, but they're like health candies, but she will take like almonds and walnuts and put like a good quality maple syrup, I think it is, Caroline, isn't it? She's over there.
In the background. Hey, Caroline, it's Jesse. Thanks for letting me borrow your husband.
So yeah, just base everything on how I'm feeling.
Okay. And do you train particularly in the morning, or do you train at the same time every day? What time is it?
Same time every day. I try to wait till the sun comes out just because it's a little better footage, which is normal. So we live pretty close to the ocean. So like right now it's overcast out there. So around noon every day.
Noon. Okay.
Yeah.
Noon.
Yeah.
All right. And does pre-training nutrition or fuel, does that factor in for you? Or do you just eat when you're hungry and train when you feel like it?
Well, my routine is those eggs. To me, that's my pre-workout meal, but it's a couple hours before. And I do a pre-workout drink. I use ProMix pre-workout. The supplements I use is protein, creatine, BCAA, and glutamine. But that's it.
Staples, fundamentals.
Staples. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, pretty
Let me
simple.
recap, and I'm going to transition to training a little bit, but it sounds to me high protein or moderate to high protein, carbohydrates primarily through fruit, not through grains, occasionally white rice, not counting calories, not counting macros.
No.
And your pre-workout nutrition is essentially a standard meal for you. You don't deviate. It's typically high protein vegetables and some fruit.
Yep. Yeah.
Let's go. I love it. Yeah, I'm a certified trainer as well, and I don't actively train one-on-one. I did at one point, but a lot of my friends and family will come to me with their questions, and oftentimes their questions are more fitting for like an elite athlete who's trying to like edge out these like incremental gains or go from like 8% body fat to 7. It's like there's such detailed questions like, hey, should my fasting window be this long or this long? And like, and I always just say, look, guys, you gotta crawl and you're trying to sprint. Like just eat healthy whole foods and don't overeat and make it clean protein and stuff. So, but I love that your answer is essentially like, look, simple works. I mean, I know there's thought behind it and I know there's, consistency, but I think anyone listening should be encouraged that you don't have to go crazy counting every single calorie to achieve the fitness that you have. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Life's already complicated enough. The last thing I need to do is start counting calories. I mean, I know when I overeat, so I just cut back. You just got to, work on trying to become more in tune with yourself.
Yep. Love that.
Yeah.
So training.
Yeah.
How many days a week are you training currently?
So right now, consistently 4 days a week. Yep.
Strength training.
I'll practice on the weekends. Sometimes I'll do small kettlebell complexes just because they're fun. But the solid workouts 4 days a week, and I do splits in my own way. On Mondays I do leg and shoulders. Tuesdays I focus on arms. Wednesdays chest back. But it's a focus, but it's always full body. I'm always kind of getting my legs in there in some ways. I don't lift real heavy. Some days I'll go heavier. I'll do like heavier squats with the weights I have. Like I have a 80-pound kettlebell. I'll do some goblet squats. I have 150-pound sandbags where I'll do some squats with. But for the most part, I'm doing higher rep, lower weight stuff. And Fridays that's when I'll do like a full body
Got it. Okay, excuse me. Legs and shoulders, day 1,
Yeah.
arms, day 2,
Yep.
and then you have a chest and back, and then a full body.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so you're hitting everything twice a week.
Yeah,
with
pretty much. Yeah.
straight up
Yeah.
resistance training.
Yeah.
Okay, cardio.
Yeah.
Let's talk about cardio.
Yeah. So cardio, I get that question a lot. I would say I swing the kettlebell, two-handed swings on every one of my workouts. So that's why I say it's pretty much a full body, even though I'm doing those focus muscle groups. But I walk every day, and I brisk walk too. So to me, that is getting cardio. Some people would maybe argue with me about that, but to me, that is my cardio. And it's also where I get out and free my mind. So the cardio would be the kettlebell swing. And if anyone of you out there have swung kettlebell, like go swing your 22 kg, 24, 26 kg kettlebell for 150 times, you're going to be breathing hard, and it's a great workout. I mean, you're definitely getting your heart pumping with swinging a kettlebell. But so I attribute to that a lot. And
you'll polish off a strength and training workout with kettlebells, so all 4 of those days you'll wrap up with the kettlebell workout.
Pretty much always I have.
Do you walk in the morning particularly, or whenever you can?
We walk at 3 every day. That's our time. We get out and walk. We have the same route we do, and it's not a real long walk, probably pushing 2 miles, something like that. But we are intentional about it. We walk briskly. We walk pretty hard. And the other thing I do every once in a while is we'll walk to the grocery store. I'll bring a backpack and bring back like 30 pounds of groceries. So you're kind of getting a little workout there. We live in a community where you can kind of walk to grocery stores and stuff like that, which is really cool. I get the question about my core too. Like, how did you get abs, really? And I would say it's 100% from swinging the kettlebell consistently. I really believe the core workout I get from swinging the kettlebell is where it is. Although you are more working your posterior chain with the kettlebell, but you're definitely hitting this front core here. I mean, I feel it when I'm.
Have you always trained with a kettlebell, or did you pick that up later on in life?
Later on. And when I was training with, like I said, in the 30s, it was very similar to how I work out now, but in the gyms back in those days, which wasn't that long ago, or at least that gym, they didn't have kettlebells.
Yeah.
So it's something that I just wanted to do and learn, and I'm still learning every day. I mean, I get crap on my swing all the time from guys like wanting to give me advice, like, oh, I don't know, like you're hinging too soon. It's like, oh man, I'll respond. I'll just say, well, I'm just doing what's natural. Most importantly, I'm my posture is good.
So Jeff, I want to just point people towards your website, and then I have one more question for you. We're getting close to the hour mark, but I know midlifefitclub.com is your website. Yeah. And I'll link to it.
Yeah, that's right.
And people can access your fitness app from your website, correct?
Yes, they can. Yep. There's a link there right to the fitness app. And it's right now, you get 1 week for free to give it a try. See how you like it. It seems like a lot of guys are really loving it. And yeah, it's all based on how I work out every day. And that's it. And I continue to work out this way. And I love it. And it works great. And I'm going to continue to keep working out this way.
The website up, and again, I'll link to it in the episode notes, but it looks like you offer recipes, BMR calculators, so you do touch on the nutrition side as well. So we'll make sure folks find that. My last question for you, it's kind of a pivot here, but I also, just from getting to know you, just in the process leading up to this conversation, I know that your faith has played a role in your journey and your pivot in your life. So let's talk about that. What role has faith played for you?
Yeah, great question. But what it was is, like, I've always believed in God since, like, my mom instilled that in me from when I was younger. So I always had the belief, but I think about 2.5 years ago, I started reading a book from Pastor Rick Warren. He wrote The Purpose-Driven Life.
California. He's a
Yeah,
Californian.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I always just loved him. I always loved his messaging, and so then I started watching him on TV, and then from there, my mom went to this local church over here, and my wife and I went, and then I just fell in love with the pastor there. His name's Eric Geiger. And then we just started going consistently every Sunday. And then my wife's growing closer to God. I look over sometimes when she's sitting there, and I could just see that the warmth coming out of her, and just
It's
she's
beautiful.
really feeling it. And we just started going consistent. And then I think I even put out on my social media that I want to build closer relationships with men. I feel like that's something, it could be from, like we talked about, my childhood, biological father. Maybe I'm missing that in life or something, but I put that out there, and I intentionally went to try to build relationships with other men.
Yeah.
So it keeps gradually, I just keep getting closer and closer, and that's what I'm yearning for, I think. And what I want is men in my life that are positive, and we're all on, like-minded. We all love God, and I'm just so thankful this is happening. And it's a big part of my story, and a lot of my Follow My Midlife Fit Club, because I have talked about it, are Christian men. So,
Well,
and I think I'll talk about it more too when it's the right time.
You're looking at one of those men, brother.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm glad we met, man. I'll tell you a really quick story, and then I have one more question for you. I'll let you. God finds these ways, if you're paying attention, to let you know that he's there. I remember the big hang up for me before I believed in anything was like, I'll believe it when I see it or when it's proved, right? But faith is a belief absent of tangible proof. Sometimes you're putting faith in something. In this case, you're putting faith in God. I mentioned my father passed away when I was really young. I had been carting. He didn't leave me much. He didn't have much. But I was carting around with me everywhere I went. I mean, I joined the Marines. I went to college in Central Jersey, moved to Colorado, you name it. And I had been bringing this Bible along with me, and it was my dad's Bible. And, oftentimes I think about it. Did my father believe? Is he in heaven? These are questions that you can understand why I would ask. Like, I hope to see my father again one day in heaven. But how could I know, right? He certainly never talked about Jesus, and we never talked about faith. And anyways, one day we were moving from New Jersey to Colorado 3 years ago, and we're packing up. So when you're packing up a house, you see things you hadn't seen in a while. I saw my dad's Bible, and I was like, wow, look at that. I opened it up. It's this big old blue book, dusty. And I open up the Bible, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to flip to my favorite verse, which is 2 Timothy 1:7. I'm just going to read it real quick. I open the Bible up to that verse, to that book, and there's a feather in it that's probably 30 years old. The only person that touched this Bible before it got to me was my father.
Wow.
Make what you want of that, but what I made of it is that's hope, and that is the story of the gospel. But my dad, for some reason, A, he was in his Bible, which is encouraging to me. B, found the same book or maybe even the same verse that gave him meaning or hope, and bookmarked it with a feather and closed it. And then I found it however many years later. That's little things awesome. Like that. When that happens, you got to pay attention and call that what it is, right? Yeah. So anyway, I thought I'd share with you.
Well, you're giving me chill bumps.
Very gracious with your time. We're over an hour, and thank you for that. So my last question, I ask every guest this. We're halfway through the year, almost.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a big celebration here, not in June for your first year, but what are you excited about for the rest of the year? What are you working on? What kind of just gets you fired up as you look forward into the future of Jeff Sutherland and also Midlife Fit Club?
Yeah, gosh. Well, what do I just to continue to be able to do what I'm doing. I'm just so thankful to be able to do this in the first place. Like, this is my job. And I'm just so thankful to be able to help other men, achieve their best selves. And I just so look forward to what the future brings. What do I look forward to? Just continued growth, continued betterment of myself, which I think in turn will continue to help others. I think that's now my purpose in life, is to continually give back. And that's just it. I can't think of really anything else other than that. It's never been about money to me, in anything I've done. Like I've said, I do have a background in the creative industries. It's always been about doing things for passion. I'm a passionate person, and I just really want to continue to do what I'm doing and see it keep growing and make a living at it while helping people.
Yeah, well said. Hey, look,
Yeah.
you've got a fan in me,
Yeah.
and you've got a new friend, and I'll be
Thank you,
I'll be
Jesse.
pulling.
You're
Of
awesome.
course, man. I'll be pulling for you. Thanks for coming on. I'm gonna link to a bunch of stuff, including your website, your social your handles and things like that.
Thanks so much.
Man, I just appreciate you being on the show. Thanks so much, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you, Jesse. Take
All
care.
right.